Hello, I'm Andy, and I'm going to read to you a program called Tarot Monthly Horoscope for June 2019. And this is for you coming from Taurus. So let me first pull the card, but let me first tell you that my email address is andyhoro9, ANDIHORO 9, the number 9, andyhoro9 at gmail.com. Send me an email and I'll be able to talk to you. The first card that I'm going to pull will be to do for the first 15 days of June for you coming from Taurus. And it is going to be talking to you about your job. And so, well, this is a very difficult card. And it says there can be arguments and confrontation and differences of opinion in your first 15 days where you work. And so make sure to keep the peace. Try to avoid any of these which I've just mentioned. Be negotiable, be friendly. Show the people you work with in these first 15 days of June that you're willing to cooperate and support what their plans are. And that way you can make everything more friendly for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of opposition and difficulties in your first 15 days in your job. No security there. Now, I'm going to talk to you about your business for the first 15 days. And let's see what the card says. Well, it's a card that says that the competition is going to beat you if you try go out looking for new businesses. So don't bother with that. Why don't you just settle down and with the business you have, try to improve it, put more possibility of letting that grow. So concentrate on what you have already in your hands rather than wanting to go out to challenge and fight for the competition for the new businesses. Don't bother. It'll be difficult for you. Now we will go to romance. So the first card that I pull will be to do with a new romance possibility for you, you coming from Taurus. It's again a difficult card for you. And this time it says there's a complication. So if you find a new romance in the first 15 days of June, there is a complication. The complication could be that that person is complicated with already a romance of his own or her own. It could be a complication of finances. For some reason, this person may be totally in trouble with finances, and you don't want to inherit a new romance who is coming looking for financial help. We don't want that. And so there are difficulties of all kinds. I might even add arguments are going to come very quickly. So treat this possibility of a new romance in the first 15 days very gingerly, meaning that don't commit yourself too quickly. Just give it a piece of time, 1 week or maybe more before you start talking or showing some real interest. Now about your ongoing romance, if you have one, let's see what the card says. This is a much better card. This is a card that says you can get very friendly with your, improve the friendly situation with the romance partner that you have, all simply by being the sunshine. Talk about happy things, talk about lucky things, and don't bring any kind of gloomy problems. So the first 15 days to keep your romance happy that you have, try to just be as pleasant as possible and have look on the bright side and things should go well. It's only 15 days after all. Now we will talk about marriage and let's see what the card says for the first 15 days. Now that's a problem. Who wants to take the lead? Who wants to control? Is it the queen or is it the king? Now, if you're listening to me, tell yourself in this first 15 days of June, you don't want to take on a challenge because if you do, you'll be at the losing end of it, shown from this card. That black moon that you see, whenever I see a black moon, I worry that the person I'm talking to could be the victim. And so you want to keep things very friendly. Let your marriage partner take the charge and take control. Be happy about it. Give it the biggest smile you have. It's only for 15 days after all, and you'll see your 15 days will pass beautifully for you. So that's how you need to be clever. Now the last 15 days of June, and I'll start with your job again. And let's see, for you coming from Taurus, this is a much, much better card. It's the card of progress. It's the card of being able to do very well. So if you find a job or if you go hunting for a job in the last 15 days, you're going to get very good news. And even if you prefer to stay on in the job you have, the situation is going to improve day by day. Just respect your superiors, respect the people who are in charge, the card says. And if you can do that, you'll be able to find peace and find support and find a very pleasant last 15 days of June where you work. Don't challenge your superiors. That's the message. Now let's talk about business. Let's see how you're going to do with business. Well, it's a very restless card. It's a very restless card, saying you're dying to make changes in business, perhaps looking at business, perhaps getting in new partners, adding more agency lines, or maybe you are just going into business. That's also the big change. Well, the change is not exactly bad for you, but it says that don't start on too big a scale. Keep it very much within your energy levels. So the only downside of this card is don't double up on your plans and wanting to go big. And if you can control that, I think this card is good enough to give you the last 15 days of June some help in business. And now about romance. So let's start with a new romance possibility in the last 15 days of June. Oh, it's very entangled. Look at that. It's all entangled up, complicated. And what's the main reason for the problem? Finances. So if you find a new romance, you got to study the situation of this person coming to your life. Is it because this person is in financial trouble? Yes, you don't want to inherit somebody who's coming in with financial trouble. Or is this person very argumentative and full of stress because this person has a very unhappy period and you don't want to inherit a very unhappy person either? Well, you can be kind, take your time, and in the last 15 days of June, see how the situation goes along. But my message is don't be impatient and hasty to go grab that romance, the new romance. Let's see about your ongoing romance, what the card says. This is a much better card. This is a much better card. So this card says, look at the feet, the bottom part, that you are, this message is for you, that you are tied, that you cannot make a move. So are you in reality looking to get out of this romance because you want the change? The card also talks of change. If that is the situation, then you should go ahead and get out of the romance. But this card is not such a card of badness. It's a card that shows things are not going well between you and your romance partner in the last 15 days of June. So if you value the romance, tell yourself, you're going to work hard in these 15 days to get things right. That's the only way now. Your old romance, okay. Now let's talk about marriage. Let's see how your marriage is going to do in the last 15 days. And this is a beautiful card. So in long-term affairs like marriage, you will do very well. In short-term areas like romance, there's a problem. This is a card that says you are willing and your marriage partner is willing to settle with whatever issues they are at hand and to build a beautiful atmosphere. And so you're going to do well in Taurus, you coming from Taurus. And the situation is that you will do the changes and make your last 15 days of June much better. So there you are. Now I'm going to talk to you a bit about health quickly. So let's see what the card says about health for you in Taurus. All right. Now, about your health. Well, basically, it's depression and gloominess. So it's a mental and emotional problem that you'll have to worry about in the month of May. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I expected to have some physical message from you about your physical side, somewhere you're not well, your knees or your ankles. So it's a mental side. So you got to keep yourself mentally very happy in the month of June. That's the main problem. Now I'm going to talk to you about your lucky ages. So there are going to be some people who are going to be very lucky, and let's see who they are, from which ages. Okay, now for you coming from Taurus, it is the card of leadership. So my mind goes to these ages. If you happen to be the ages of 19 or 28 or 37 or 46 or 55 or 64 or even 73, then you're going to be one very lucky person, whether in job, whether in business, whether in finding the romance, whether keeping your marriage very happy. So that's wonderful. Well, if you're not of these ages, you'll need to see me for a 90-minute session, which will cost you USD $50. And based on your date of birth, your time of birth, and looking at your palms, I'll tackle your next 7, 8, or 9 years to make them perfectly yours. We'll talk about that later. Now I'm going to pull the card to talk about your lucky dates. So there'll be certain dates for you which are going to be extremely lucky. And from this card, I'm going to say that the 2nd, the 11th, the 20th, and the 29th is going to be full of fun and enjoyment, and also good news, whether in job or in business, or whether you want to go to the casino or things like that. The 2nd, 11th, 20th, 29th going to be wonderful for you. So bookmark these dates and carry on and enjoy yourself. Now we will talk about lucky colors. So let's see now. What are the lucky colors for you? Is the color of mighty greatness. You see that purple border down there? That's the purple circle of energy and control. So I would like you to wear a lot of purple. Wear a lot of purple in this month of June, and you will definitely have the possibilities of moving up to some better situation in your life. So there you are. Now we're going to talk about direction energy. So there are 9 planets around Earth. When we look north, south, east, or west, we are going to face a planet. And for inspiration, in the month of June, where should you face? I would say face north. This card shows face north, and you will get all the luck you need, whether in the romance, the marriage, whether in the job, the business. So there you are. Well, I have a 90-minute session, and in that session, I will talk to you about your lucky lottery numbers, your lucky colors, your lucky gemstones, your lucky days. And that's going to be based on your date of birth, your time of birth, and looking at your palm. That's the magic of it all. Your palms are sincerely yours, whereas your date of birth and time of birth can be shared by sometimes 100,000 people. It's so big, the population is. So reading your palm, I'll be able to match it to what your horoscope says, and that's where the accuracy comes. So give me a message on Andy Horo9, ANDIHORO9 @gmail.com. And I'll come back to you as soon as I can and help you to get your next 7, 8, or 9 years perfectly under your control. Until then, thank you and goodbye.